Good evening, race fans, and welcome along to round number 5 at Circuit of the Track Limits. It is the QRT GT3 Championship Season 5. As I mentioned, it's round 5. It's Circuit of the Americas. It is I, once again, John Wright, aka Double O Raven, will be bringing you all of the action, joined once again by the man, the myth, the legend. It is Mr. Madden Sean, aka Flawed Genius Gaming. Nothing flawed about his comedy, that's for sure. How are we doing this evening, Sean?
Yes, I'm doing absolutely fantastic, John. Thank you for asking. Good evening to you and good evening to everyone in QRT. And yeah, we are looking forward to this fantastic race, which I won't spoil it because John will fill you in with the details.
Here we go. Yes, indeed. It's round number 5. It's going to be 1 hour round Circuit of the Americas. We've already done the Nordschleife, Imola, Brands, Hatch and Suzuka, and it really couldn't be any closer up at the top. 2012, this track was thrown together. It's never been changed because, yeah, why would it so soon? They spent quite a while planning it out, just like Sean and myself for these, and it's going to be a well planned out execution of the pit stops. I can see one of the drivers bringing home the bacon this evening because, yeah, absolute anticipation tonight, Sean, after the racing we've seen so far and the results so far. It's incredibly close at the top of the tables.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, it was full of surprises at Suzuka. And as I take you through the results, yes, we had Thiago Dinarte grabbing his first win of the season, making it 4 different drivers grabbing a win in Season 5. Absolutely fantastic stuff. With Chandler Williams grabbing his second podium of the season in P2. And then Andre Thierry grabbing the last step on the podium, grabbing his second podium of the season. Thiago Dinarte grabbing the fastest lap for the pros. In the silver category, we had Ed Sterling that grabbed his second win in a row, with Oscar Bjornhag getting his second podium of the season, finishing in P2. P3 went to Nick Brownix, grabbing his second podium of the season. I always struggle to say his name, so hopefully I did it justice there. Ed Sterling grabbing the fastest lap time with a 1 minute 59.560. And then for the amateurs, we only had 2 drivers that finished. It was Alex Perry grabbing his first win of the season, and then Zach Scott grabbing his first podium of the season, finishing in P2, with Alex Perry getting the fastest lap time. So we'll see how things will fare in this one, John, but how's it looking in the driver standings?
Yeah, so we're just having a quick flick through the standings. We'll go into those in more detail as the yeah, the drivers out there. It's going to be a fun race tonight. I'm not sure if you can hear the puddles splashing. Spoiler alert. In the pros, as we can see, it is Damien, ever dominant Konzig, although not overly dominant this season. He's certainly, with Chandler Williams and Arnaud Delazus, he is absolutely in a scrap for this championship with only 2 rounds to race. That 10th place comeback drive last week at Suzuka, absolutely commendable. It's given him a 1-point lead over Williams, who is 5 points ahead of Delazus. Delazus himself 6 points ahead of Thierry there in 4th place, and Jerome Jongen only 4 points behind the top 5, as close as you would expect. In the silvers, it's Ed Sterling that is leading the way. Quite a comfortable gap in QRT terms. 9 points he has over Bornage. Nick Brunsnick's finding himself 2 drives so far this season, both of them on the podium. He finds himself on the same points as Tomac Gerezik, who's had that race win himself. Didn't start last week. Sorry, didn't finish last week. Let's see how he fares this week, with Christophe Papai rounding out the top 5 on 69 points, another 8-point gap to the car behind. And in the arms is Letellier, 95 points atop the table, ahead of Alex Perry in the Nissan GT3 on 90 points, with Tenor Rio in the AMG. He's only raced twice, hopefully he's still in it. I love the sound of that AMG. Lieutenant Red Eye as well there, with Zach Scott rounding out the top 5 on 69 points. Here is what we all came to see, though, the conditions out on track. The practice session has just ended, and this is what the drivers have been practicing in. What do we think, Sean? Do we think the racing gods will be kind to them in a way and leave them with these conditions, or do we think we're about to see dry for the start of qualifying? Hedging our bets now.
Yeah, good question actually. Yeah, it's very, very wet conditions out there on track, and I'm sure the drivers are not enjoying it. To be honest, it could be full of surprises. It could dry up. It could be a bit of a mixed bag. I couldn't really hedge my bets in terms of how the conditions will fare throughout the race, John.
It would probably make it a bit easier for you to do so if I actually shared with you what was going on. There we go. And it's gone dry. There was a cloud up in the top corner, and it has gone dry. And there we go. Ha-ha! Yes. Excellent. So the pros, as with every other round, they will go out for the opening. They will rubber in the track for the rest of the field, which is incredibly kind of them, the way it should be, in my humble opinion. It will then be the silvers come out for 10 minutes, and the arms will come out for third. And it always accentuates it, Sean. One of the most exciting things about QRT is you're going to see silvers at pace. I've got decent pace at certain tracks, so do the arms, and they really mix it with the group ahead of them. And often what we've found is with the qualifying session being 30 minutes and the ever-changeable weather conditions, that comes with track condition changes as well. And we're seeing the track here now at fast, and on multiple occasions this season we've seen it head up to optimum by the time the arms come out, so they get themselves some very good times, as Callum Scotland is the first victim of circuit of the track limits. But yeah, track evolution, a big thing, and it looks like it might work in the favour of the arms once again. The pros getting put through their paces.
Yes, indeed, and this is a very fascinating track. It is a track that some drivers will love, some drivers will absolutely detest. But what I know of this circuit is that there is quite a mix of technical sections, and then you've got this long straight. So I do feel like there will be quite a lot of racing action today. There should be some overtakes in the braking zones, it's going to be interesting, to be honest. We'll see the strengths and weaknesses of all the manufacturers out there, but as I say, I think it's got a little bit of everything, because the fast cars in the Astons and the Mustangs and the NSX as well, you'll see the sheer speed they've got down the long straights, but then of course you've got the technical sections where the more aerodynamic friendly cars do come into play. So very, very interesting, John. And what are your predictions ahead of just for this qualifying session? Do you think it'll be the usual suspects up there?
This is one of these tracks. It's called Circuit of the Track Limits for a very good reason. It's so easy to violate them, and it's going to be he who dares wins, Rodders, once again, I think, to quote one of my daughter's favourite TV programmes, one of mine as well, let's be fair. Tom Wegman, look, they're queuing up at the end of the lap. It's 3 miles long, and they're still queuing up at the end of the warm-up lap. So yeah, it's all going to be, and this is another thing as well, Sean, it's almost going to be a one-lap shootout with the 10 minutes qualifying. That's us 3.5 minutes in, and the drivers are just getting on to their first flying lap. So there's going to be less than 3 minutes to go, so they're going to have to go for back-to-back laps. Do you set a banker in this field, or do you go full guns blazing on your first lap? 27-degree track temperature, so it's only fast at the minute, but it is at 27 degrees, which isn't too bad for getting the tyres warmed up. And this, Sean, is a track that will warm those tyres.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I think in answering your question, John, I think the wisest thing to do is to set the bank a lap, especially because, as you mentioned, the track limits are a bit of an annoyance for the drivers. It's very, very easy to run a little bit wide or even cut the corners. So I know that the drivers out here are perfectionists, particularly in the pro category, but the safer bet is to really maybe do a slightly slower first lap to make sure you've got some sort of time on the board, and then fully send it on the second lap, I think, anyways.
Indeed, yeah, that could be the plan, trying to get some camera time for all the drivers. Callum Scotland decided he doesn't want the tartan livery on screen today. Twice he's been off track. Yep, it's getting close. Good evening to everyone in the chat. Mrs. Emily, good evening first in. Thank you very much for tuning in. Johnny Rico as well. What up, Broom Gang? It's your boy. Welcome in. 1 minute 59 is crazy fast. Amen to that. Amen to that. And we've got Moose in as well. My boy Flawed. Ain't nothing flawed about one. It is the magic man, Mr. Sean Madden. And we're looking forward to another absolute cracker tonight, Sean. Seasons 4 and 5, they're all back catalogued on YouTube. And it was almost tongue-in-cheek when you were asking me earlier any predictions for my race tonight, for the race tonight, even just for the qualifying, because we all know you can expect the unexpected. The predictable is absolutely out the window. Multiple winners in each division this season, and an average of 5 points separating the top two in each of the sections after 4 rounds. Again, just pays testament to how exciting this is going to be tonight, although Damien Konzig putting half a second on the rest of the field already.
Yes, indeed, yeah. So at the top of the stream, I did mention that it was 4 different drivers that have grabbed the win out of the 4 races we've had in season 5. So are we going to break that trend? Is one of the 4 drivers that have their victory, will they be able to grab their second win of the season, or are we going to have 5 races in order, to grab their win? I mean, it's been a strange whole season, but it's certainly something that us commentators, and I'm sure the viewers as well, have been absolutely enthralled with. And COTA is a very unpredictable circuit, as you know, John, and the track limits are definitely very strict here. So anything is possible, and I was hoping that you would give me some sort of prediction, but perhaps that's too much of a difficult question to ask you, John.
I'm far too long in the tooth to fall into that one. There's sometimes I will make crazy predictions, and sometimes I just think to myself, look at this field, it's QRT. It's better to just let the action unfold, because let's face it, with De La Zeus currently 5th in qualifying, he's a race winner, and Wegman as well. I'm absolutely, the anticipation of a Wegman-Konzig battle up at the front of the field, given the way the two of them chase one another around Valencia. A repeat of that would not go amiss, and they've not got long left to set these qualifying times. The rain may return. Just because it's gone for quali doesn't mean it won't come back for the race as well. Callum Scotland still at a set of time, so too Andre Thierry in the Lexus. And bit of a poison chalice, this one in the Lexus, Sean. It's got very, 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 very good top speed, but some of the twisty stuff here really is twisty. And so, and again, I think we're seeing that playing out with Thierry not managing to get a lap set yet, violating again those track limits. It's all you can talk about, but on the straight stuff we know he's going to be absolutely topping out over the rest of the field, but the twisty stuff really is not doing well for Thierry tonight, and struggling to even get a time in.
Yeah, I don't envy Thierry's task here. He's a very, very skilled driver, as we know, but the Lexus tends to really struggle, particularly in the very technical section. The kind of it doesn't respond too well to the kind of I'm struggling to find the word, but the left to right handers, the way that the body rolls, it's a struggle. It's a real struggle. Or as you can see on that curve, doesn't like the curves either, John. So
No. It's all playing against them. It's all playing against them. It's like an elongated version of Laguna Seca. Still to set a time. Up at the front of the field though is Damien Konzig. Is he going to be the first two-race winner of the series? In the Sunday series, he took a clean sweep of races, won the first 4, took the championship with a race to go. Rainier Athenstad. Go Ferrari. I'm not biased. You are. Oh, and De La Zeus has just gone quicker. Wow, look at that. 8 tenths between Konzig and De La Zeus. Less than a tenth, or a tenth and a half between De La Zeus, Athenstad and Wegman, who are both in the pits. They're done with qualifying. De La Zeus has got another throw of the dice, but so does Konzig. He's looking to finish his lap as the silvers start to come out. Mike van der Hoek is still on the lap. Ewig has just yellowed his lap, and we've got Sjoberg in the Porsche. Surely we're not about to see Sjoberg again. I don't know what he's got. He's been speaking nicely to Herbie in that Porsche. We've seen some incredible straight line speed out that Porsche from goodness knows where. And Sjoberg, he really can't qualify around these long tracks despite being in a Porsche.
Yes, indeed, and to be honest, he's been going from strength to strength in this season. I know that he was playing down his chances in chat a few weeks ago, but I've got to say I've been very impressed with him as the season has gone on, and yeah, he's looking good out there. Currently P6 for the pros, and also as well, I've got to give him credit because he has got number 69, so that's always good. Yeah, just coming around the penultimate corner. This is where you got to be careful on the track limits. I think he just about gets away with it, but as we come around the final turn now, yeah, I think he just about kept it in track limits, and no, doesn't go quicker, unfortunately for him.
No, doesn't go quicker. Van der Hoek. Konzig's crossed the line, and Van der Hoek, slight improvement there. He's now bang on 1 second off a pole. That is an almighty lead that Damien Konzig has got over the rest of the field. 8 tenths of a second.
That's quite a margin.
Oh, and yeah. Here at QRT, that is absolutely gargantuan. I mean, you look at it, there's half a second from second back to 6th. So that in less than a second back to 7th and 8th. So, yeah, it goes to show you just how good a time that is. Callum Scotland not getting a time set. He is going to have his work cut out for him. As we see in the opener, I did say Damien all dominant Konzig, something along those lines. He's taken all 3 purple sectors, quite unsurprisingly, with an 8 tenths gap. That's right, QRT, 8 tenths separating the front row. Incredible. De La Zeus in second, Athenstad and Wegman on row 2. That is going to be, oh, what a run into turn 1 this is going to be. Van der Hoek, Sjoberg, Dubig and Thierry rounding out the first 4 rows, with Kibazinski in 9th position. For the moment, he is 2.1 seconds off the pole position pace. And if there's one thing I know about the Silvers, Sean, they'll love to mix it with the pros. And if you're 2 seconds behind the pole time set by the pro leader and the track is getting better, you've got to be thinking you're dropping down the order at this point. Kibazinski and Scotland could be in for a bit of a drop. Not to be a bit of a naysayer right at the start of the show, but yeah, yeah, could be a bit of a drop because the Silvers will be quick in this ever-evolving track.
Indeed, yeah. Sometimes there's not too much of a difference between some of the top drivers in the silver category and the pros. I don't. Have we got Ed Sterling today? Because I can't see on the time boards there, unless he's a bit further down. Is he not? He's not there.
No, he's not. No.
Oh, okay. Well, then he was a man that I have been thoroughly impressed, and I kind of called for him to get promoted into the pro category. But yeah, it's a big shame that, John.
Is, yeah, back-to-back wins, of course. He's already got 2 drop rounds with a 4-2 14th places, so that is going to do him a fair bit of harm. In fact, Bornage has got a first, a second, and a 12th. Wow, it's going to be close between those two. 2 drop rounds, so it does make it a bit interesting to say the least. 2 rounds to race. This one, and then, of course, let's go. We're off to Austria. The hills are alive with the sound of a Scotsman squealing his way through an hour of racing at the Red Bull Ring. I'm absolutely beside myself with excitement to see the drivers set their times out there. We've got some times coming in. Oh, and look at that, Mr. Naysayer, me thinking that the bottom of the Pro Pack was going to be overtaken, and Brunsnick's leading the way in the silvers, 3/10 off, so maybe this is a track. It is a very long track. This is the thing, Sean. It's yeah. So how am I trying to? Maybe I'm just overthinking this because of the way I drive. But it's almost like so Spa. There's a much yeah. So the longer the track, the bigger the difference really between the top and the bottom, because there's more corners to make mistakes, sort of thing. Like at Spa, I'm the same percentage behind the aliens as I am at Laguna Seca and Brands Hatch, but that translates into a much bigger time difference because it is a much longer track. And at 2:05 for the pros, it's not really a massive surprise to see the silvers actually settling in just behind them this week.
Yeah, and especially with COTA being 20 turns in total as well. So, yeah, as you said, John, there's a lot of turns. There's a lot of slow sections, some technical sections. There is a couple, as I said, there is a couple of long straights as well that some of the cars, particularly as we mentioned with the Lexus, being reasonably strong at. But yes, you're definitely right. The longer the track, the more spaced out the drivers will be in the times. I don't think. Well, we haven't seen anywhere close to the same split time as we did in the first round, wasn't it? So, which I still can't believe, John.
yeah. For anyone that did miss it, where were you? Really? Jump onto YouTube. You can watch it back. In qualifying around the Nordschleife, 2 drivers set exactly the same time. Yes. Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. And at the minute, one of them's qualified. In fact, oh look, it is the top 2 again in quali. That's my prediction from now on. Although, how can you say that these 2 are going to be the top 2 when you've got Tom Wegman and the likes in the field? When Tom hooks up a lap, I mean, he's half a tenth behind Athenstad and a tenth and a half behind De La Zeus. We're just running our way through the silvers at the moment. We've got Chris Bell in the chat. The wife is off out to a Christmas party, so can't race tonight. Pesky kids. I'm sure that you can get them bringing you water and things during the race. They're not cheer dad on, surely. There is the Gore and Grazig, one of the championship contenders. That Turn 1 sim racing livery does look good. He's not set a time yet at the moment, neither has Bornage. All drivers were expecting to see up at the front, again, just paying testament to how difficult the track limits are here. Nick Brunsnick does sneak his way into the top 10. He's got another one of the cars just ahead of him. So cheeky bit of slipstream there, bang on 2 seconds behind pole position. So that is not too bad. We've only got 2 arms in as well. Make sure you're getting yourself signed up to these races as well, by the way. We'll get the link to the host page for QRT. It's loads of events and still plenty of space for the 4 hours of Imola this weekend. So get yourself over, and yeah, whatever level of driver you are, the unbelievably respectful Sean. Get a bit of testament from a driver that knows you spend a lot more time driving than me. Some of the respect we see from the drivers right at the sharp end of the grid, your Konzigs, your De La Zeuses, your Wegmans, and the guys and gals at the back as well, always so respectful under blue flag circumstances. Absolute pleasure it must be to be out on track with these guys, with these drivers.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, this is definitely. Well, I mean, I've seen a lot of racing leagues out there, and particularly towards the top of the grid or towards the faster drivers, there's always a great respect, and QRT is definitely no different in that respect. Yeah, it's always great to see, and I think drivers in particular anyway, they kind of try to race their own race, isn't it? So unless there's a sort of a five-way battle for a position or something, generally speaking, the drivers that are getting laps, they will give the respect, give the drivers overtaking the space to carry on with their race. But yeah, John, I was actually going to ask you something, because this is a bit of a smaller grid than we're used to, isn't it? And when we was talking about the circuit, where some people love this circuit, some people hate this circuit, I think what I'm seeing out there is that there's more haters than people that love this circuit.
I would say so. Yep. I would say that as a fair assessment. I would definitely say that as a fair assessment. Although Tomek Grejcik, he is definitely not a hater. He's gone 7th place, nice, right at the death of his qualifying session. We're right into the final throws for the silver. The arms and the wild card, Hajo Horman car 994. All wild cards this series do have a red block next to their name, but they are numbered 990 to 999. That's how you can tell the difference. As we see, Grejcik goes even quicker, gets to within a second, and he is going to be wheel to wheel. The two McLarens absolutely punching here at COTA, and those times inseparable. Look at the top 5. In fact, second place, Damien Konzig taking absolute bow. That time looking better and better. I don't know why I'm sounding so surprised. I don't know what's more surprising. The fact that's just happened again, or the fact that I'm actually surprised, Sean. Tomek Grejcik, absolute pace, 5,000th behind Wegman and half a tenth behind Athenstad. Oh, lap 1, bring it on.
Oh, indeed. Yeah, no, very, very impressive from Grejcik, and also just saving the best to last as well for Bjornhag, getting P2 as well in the silvers, just about snuck in there in front of Brown Nix, who finishes. Looks like he has finished P3 for the silvers. So yeah, very impressive from the silver drivers. We shouldn't be surprised. They're very, very capable drivers in their own rights. Yeah, we've only got 3 cars left on track, John. We've got it looks like 2 amateur drivers and a wild card, but then of course we know the pedigree of Horman. Do you think he could challenge Konzik at the top?
I'm okay. What's he driving? Sorry, Horman. He's in the BMW. No.
No.
No. I think he's definitely one for top 5. Absolutely would not put him past him getting a top 5. He is, yeah, as you say, he is absolute pro pedigree. Just can't race in all of the races. So yeah, we'll see him mix it up there. That is for sure. But there we can see, yeah, confirmation, as Sean was saying. Grejcik first place in the silvers, Bornage and Brownings second and third. Then it is Cook and Borowick in 4th and 5th. With Sullivan and Martin's just behind them, the lone Aston Martin there, 15th overall. At the minute, we'll see what the AMs have got to say about that. Martin's, Flint, De Gore, Wilson rounding out the silver drivers. That's Callum Scotland starting in 20th position. We do know the Ferrari's got pace around here though, because there's 2 of them in the top 3. There's 3 in the top 6, most dominant manufacturer in the top 6. Joint with the McLarens though, Sean, in the top 10. And yeah, I was just about to touch on that there. Fiat, obviously, my slight favouritism of the Ferrari. I'm not biased, you are. But yeah, good mix of cars still up at the front. 3 Ferraris, 3 McLarens, a couple of Porsches in the top 10, a Lexus and an Audi. It's yeah, an interesting mix of cars there, which is good to see.
Yeah, definitely good to see. Actually, interesting point, John, is so the top 2 Ferraris are the Ferrari 296s. Or if you count Van der Hoek as well in P6, then that'll be 3. But the other Ferraris are actually the 488 Evo. And I do remember Callum Scotland saying, I think he's having to race with the 488 because of for charity purposes, I think. And I remember him saying that he really doesn't like the car, and it's especially very, very bad over the curbs. And of course, there's a lot of curbs here at COTA, which perhaps is no surprise that he wasn't able to set a time on the leaderboard.
Yeah, it's going to be tough going around here. And it is an entirely different car. It wasn't like the 488 and then the 488 Evo. I can't remember what was before the 488. But yeah, whatever it was, yeah, they kind of followed an evolution, and the 296 just absolutely, completely changed. Completely different aero setup, and yeah. So going back to that old car and around the circuit like this, that's yeah. A brave driver, hopefully raising plenty of money. Some gratuitous tartan time on the screen. You'll love to see it. John Enrico, one of the best tracks in the world. Yeah, a couple of people saying they don't like it. We've got somebody in saying it is one of the best in the world. It is very much a Marmite affair. As Haugstad comes round the last corner in the Death Trap racing machine. And the track has gone to optimum.
Wow. Of course it does.
Of course it does. Yep, you absolutely love to see it. Now, we want rain for the start of the race, Sean. I'm off to do a quick rain dance in the garden. Yeah, because one of the drivers was saying, actually, there's not much practice in the dry, but this is, it's much like Paul Ricard. It's a tricky course at the best of times. You add water to this course. Some of the places where you get the puddles, it could not be more inopportune for the drivers, right bang in the braking zones. And yeah, very little they can do, and it really does massively change the way you've got to drive this course.
Yeah, especially through the kind of Maggots and Beckett's kind of esque corners, the left to right shift. I mean, it's almost impossible to avoid the puddles, and you know, you've got a car kind of going sideways through sort of a left hand, and then you got to quickly shift over to the right. It can be very, very hazardous for the drivers, and God help them if it does rain, to be honest. Just looking at chat as well, John, so a few people have, or in fact, Schoberg did actually say that he hates this circuit, or he doesn't like this circuit, which is kind of the same thing. And then, but then, a tale of two comments, really. Then John said that it's one of the best tracks in the world. So, you know, it is definitely a love it or hate it kind of circuit. I do like this circuit, John, but I'm not as quick as these drivers, though. So, yeah.
Yeah, just making it to the end is going to be a win on this one. Johnny did go on to say, unfortunately, their subjective opinions are objectively wrong.
Love it.
Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Brilliant. Hadjo Horman, I was tipping him for top 5 potentially, sitting in 8th place, almost identical time to Marcus Schoberg, 4/10 up on Oliver Zewig. It is at the moment Perry who is leading the way in the arms in the Nissan. Gratuitous engine sounds, please. Oh, wow. Goes real fast and the furious for the cameras there, Sean, and a nice little Tony Hawk rail slide just to finish that off.
Yeah, not quite the line there, but it did look good for the cameras. So big respect to you, Perry. But yeah, Horman at the moment, John, currently P8 overall, 1.3 seconds down on Konzik. So I was hoping he was going to challenge towards the top. He has still got.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, he has got a little bit quicker. He's got one more try to get within. Well, he actually, to be honest, he only needs to get 0.3 of a second to qualify in P2. So he's looking good. He just needs to eke out a little bit more out of that BMW, which I'm sure he's more than capable of doing, John.
Indeed, yeah. Let's jump on board with. In fact, let's do some helmet cam. I don't mind a bit of this. Yeah, we'll jump on board with the Ferrari. This is the AM category that is qualifying at the minute. Haugstad doesn't have a time set in the Death Trap racing machine. Very nice livery. We'll get some a good idea of the undulation that the track presents. It's not just as simple as up and down. Wow, really balancing the acceleration on those curves, and a nice bit of oversteer just for him to straighten out then as he heads down the hill. Tight left-hander, so open and inviting. So much of the track gets left untouched there. It's very much a Kailami turn one situation. 5 wide on the way in, 2 wide and hold on tight on the way out. Haugstad coming down the long straight. This is his last chance to set a time. Horman is on a time as well, and Amin Horman is on a time as well. He is behind, is he? No, he's just ahead. I'm sorry, Mr. Am, but we're going to have to jump over because Hajo Horman is lighting the sector times up. If he can keep this balanced through sector number 3, he is about to upset the apple cart and give us an incredible starting lineup. Now, extra bit of body roll there has cost him 1/10 of a second. How much is that going to change his starting position as he rounds the last corner? Oh, and that is a phenomenal exit. That has turned all kinds of things green, and he's gone second, Sean. You called it, bud. Absolutely incredible time from Horman. He's on the front row.
Yeah, saving the best to last. Fantastic lap from Horman. Yeah, I did call it. I got something right for once. Yeah, Horman, definitely a more than capable driver. And maybe you heard me. Maybe that gave him the extra G's, the extra motivation to finish in the top 2. But it does look like that no one can touch Damien Konzik, which is a term that I've used many times before, John.
Yep, it's one that I've used, and it's one that George used before you in the opening few seasons. He is just an absolute machine. Speaking of machines, though, Gert Andre Haugstad getting it done right at the end. He is a second quicker than Perry in the arms. He's put 3 silvers behind him right at the death there. So good drive by Haugstad. 4 seconds off of that unbelievable pole time by Damien Konzik. Let's bring on the rain. Horman, the wild card, running wild up at the top of the field, bringing that one home. Oh, someone just crossing the line. Let me remember which buttons to push. There we go. Oh, Sean.
Wow.
It's wet and it's about to get wetter, my friend.
Wow, indeed. Yeah, we, well, I just feel sorry for the drivers now, to be honest, because this is going to be an uphill task for many of the drivers out there. And also, someone I just missed as well, Hallstad, grabbing P1 for the amateurs as well. He just managed to get a P18 overall. So good final last-ditch effort from him as well.
Indeed, yeah, and of course, yeah, one thing that we hadn't touched on, there's the success ballast as well. The top 3 in each split will receive extra time in the pitch. That is being applied by our beautiful assistants in the background. Let's go, it's wet, says Callum Scotland. He is going to be singing in the rain from the back of the grid. That pitter-patter of rain, there is the penalties being applied, and there is the full-on starting grid. Callum starting at the back of the field could be a blessing in disguise in the Ferrari 488 GT3 Evo. Oh, wow, I mean, oh, is it better to rule in heaven or serve in hell? I believe is the question there. Is it better to be Konzig or Scotland at this point? Konzig is going to lead the way at 7 tenths ahead of Horman. Then in the pros, it's De La Zeus, Athenstad, Wegman, Grazing in the silver. It's got Van der Hoek and Schulberg, the Ferrari, the Porsche, the McLaren, and then Thierry in the Lexus. Is he going to be able to power it down on the straights, or is he's going to be a whole lot of extra lift? He's going to need to get his tyres exactly where he needs them. Bornaz just outside the top 10 thanks to Horman's heroics up at the front, and Baunix just behind them side by side with them on row 6. Kibizinski did drop just outside the top 10. Again, Horman's heroics and finds Kibizinski in 13th position. All but one of the pros, of course, Scotland not setting that time. And then it is Cook and Borwick rounding out the top 5 of the Silvers. Haugstad making it up to 18th place, but qualifying, Sean, I've said it before and I will say it again, qualifying is vanity, finishing position is sanity, and at this point that is even more a truer statement, because it's absolutely bucketing down with rain, and rain is the great equaliser.
Indeed it is, and yeah, just looking at the weather, so yeah, for the foreseeable future really it is going to rain, so the drivers will be tinkering away to make sure that their setup is acclimatized to the race conditions, because of course the tire pressures will be very, very important. Crashing out and getting nil point for the race itself. So yeah, this is going to be an interesting one, and I think the drivers will need to be very careful on the first lap, especially on cold tyres.
Yes, indeed, because the track as well, 21 degrees, so yeah, it's not like it's a hot American day out there. I've certainly seen some crazy track temperatures with the rain falling. Only track in the world where wildlife is a factor. Oh, Mount Panorama? Yes, it is. I guess you've never been to Mount Panorama. There we go. Best S's in the world and best carousel. Ooh, that's a bold statement, Johnny. A bold statement indeed, given the Nordschleif's existence. Funny you mentioned that. I used to live 2.5 hours from Bathurst. Went to a few V8 supercar races there. That would be good fun. That would be good fun. Everything running okay for you, Sean? Sorry, we temporarily lost you there for a moment.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was your end or if it was my end, but perhaps it was my end.
It was most likely Discord. Yeah. No, but you're wrong though.
Nothing wrong with my connection. What are you talking about?
Oh no, sorry, my apologies. I was reading the chat. Sorry, Johnny Rico was just writing in the chat. He is playfully poking fun at those who do not feel the same way as he does about this track. We'll see if the drivers do though. Let's get a quick look at them as they furiously try and get some PSI in those tyres. It's not about the temperature, it's about the pressure, of course. ACC, affectionately known by several drivers as tyre pressure simulator. You do have to be a bit of a race engineer to get these things exactly where you need them. We've got a lot of cloud cover as well, so, and the plus sign, so it is going to get wetter. Certainly the rain is going to get heavier. Once we've had, we should have plenty of time to spot these beautiful liveries, and then get an onboard front wheel to see just what we're dealing with. But hopefully that is coming through on the stream, just how many puddles I can see from my view here. It is quite remarkable, and it promises to be an absolute banger of a race. 3.4 miles, of course, one of the youngest tracks in existence. Went through quite the development phase. It's yeah, definitely Marmite, as we've mentioned. 2012 it was put together, and these are quite the testing conditions on a track that is fully designed to test every part of the driver and the car as is. And of course, Sean, we've got the pit strategy, which is now going to be a bit of not so much a blessing in disguise for a lot of the drivers sometimes with the tyre change, but now, oh, now Haugstad's on dry tyres.
Oh, that's a little bit bold. Might have been a mistake on his behalf, I'm not sure, but I mean, only a madman would select dry slicks in these kind of conditions. It looks like a river out there, John.
Yeah, it definitely does. We've almost lost Sean once again, but we'll crack on. We've got De Gore on screen at the minute, but yeah, that totally lost my train of thought there, because we spotted Haugstad. ACC is the Dark Souls of racing games. Indeed it is. De Gore, yeah, like we're stuck on De Gore. Let me see if we can get another car on track. But yeah, in fact, let's go and find Haugstad, because he's got a yellow strip around his tyres, which means, goodness me, where has he gone? There he is.
John, I just wanted to ask as well, there only seems to be 3 drivers with success penalties. Is that
That will be
correct?
because, as you pointed out, Sterling is not racing tonight.
Oh yes, yep.
Yeah, so it's only the drivers.
Oh yes, of course, yeah.
Oh
yeah.
yeah, so why doesn't Damien Konzig? They will be on before they go into the pits. It's maybe just the.
Is it not the results from last week that get the penalties? Maybe because I'm thinking Denart's not here, Williams is not here.
Oh no, it does say championship. There will be success penalties for this championship in each split. Oh, but then, yeah, right, okay. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. It must be on results.
Yeah. Yeah, because Thierry got P3, that would give him the 10 seconds. And Brownick got P3 as well. He gets the 10 seconds for Silver. Anyways, John, I'm waffling. If you want to carry on.
No, well pointed out, because it does absolutely change the complexity of the race for quite a few of the drivers. It's going to be a straight shootout for the top 10. Thierry with that 10 seconds has got it all to do. The finish line is right out the last corner. The start line is, there we go, it's green lights, it's foot down, it's flat out, it is flying into turn for Konzig. Absolutely beautiful takeoff, and look at Athenstad trying to go right round the outside, much like Kailami turn 1. It's 5 wide on the way in and it's 2 wide on the way out, if you dare. Arno De La Zeus, oh, Nick Brunstix, he's come a cropper, he's tumbling down the order. We've got quite a few. Let's get a closer look at the drivers. Wegman getting a good start to the race, up 2 positions, getting past De La Zeus and Athenstad. Athenstad either tried it around the outside or only had the outside line to go. Either way, it's cost him to Thierry with the 10 seconds. He's up 2 positions on his start. Bornage in a bit. Oh no, and he's off. Oh, Bornage is off. He'd made up 2. Oh, and in the background, that's Oliver Schubig having another off track. That's his 2nd off track excursion. Oh, Schubig's McLaren looking massively worse for wear. And that is a painful one. Bornage as well carrying damage. Damien Konzig carrying the lead in the race. Horman in 2nd. Wegman in 3rd place. Oh no, Wegman's down in 8th position. Wegman's lost 5 spots. Let's see, what car is that? Number 67. Nothing registering there, but he's suddenly lost 8 positions and find himself in a 4-way battle. The Lexus is up into 5th place. All the woes I was throwing the way the Lexus driver couldn't get it done in quality, but he's getting it done in the race. And Tom Wegman coming straight back on that position as well. He has now got the Ferrari beside him, and he's got Grayzig up. He's inside. Grayzig hanging on to the position. In fact, he is. Oh, he's almost taking a position around the outside. He's hanging on to it there. Beautiful rotation by Wegman through sector number 3, and he has got a good breakaway there. Phenomenal driving by Grayzig. Wegman back up 2 positions. Wow, it's up and down as you go. Renier Athenstad back up to 4, so the top 4 settled back into where they were. And the Lexus of Andre Thierry has taken 5 spots in the opening. Who says the Lexus doesn't like it?
There's a car sideways in the background. I'm not sure who that was, John. Is it Wegman? Okay.
Oh, and he's having to hold his brakes for an absolute lifetime.
For that reason, going sideways. But yeah, we'll have a look at the replay now. Oh, God.
Wow. Back end absolutely stepping out there on Wegman on the corner before. Oh, but he does take a contact from Grayzig. And yeah, because of all the other cars coming, he has sat there and held his brakes for a considerable amount. So yeah, double edged swords. You do love to see the respect. We're talking about the level of respect between the field, and there is Wegman, potential race winner sideways, making sure he held his brakes to let everyone through so as not to tap anyone else. But yeah, extremely unfortunate contact. Perry and Zubig in the pits along with Wegman. Let's see, let's be brave and have a look at this replay here at the start. So this is Zubig, this is the Lexus, so perfect timing. Let's see what happened at the start. Oh, the post going right the inside, late on the brakes, really thought about it, bunched up. He took a bit of contact. Oh, and there we go, the QRTs coming face to face there, the 2 QRT cars going full Haas. And finding themselves nose to nose, not where you want to be. Haugstad making up positions. Wilson looking to make back positions with Sullivan just behind them in the Aston Martin. All changed there. Grayzig has dropped positions on the... Oh no, sorry, he's back to where he started as Thierry goes past Athenstad. Thierry is on an absolute tear. Tell you what, let's see if we'll get thrown under the bus. Let's watch the last minute of this action here. Rainier Athenstad catching up. It's safe to say that Andre Thierry looking to negate as much of that 10-second penalty as possible here, Sean. He is on a charge. 6 positions in the opening 2 laps around the wet track in the Lexus. All hail.
John, I might be missing what you're saying at the moment. I just want to confirm with chat and welcome in Rob G. Barker as well, absolute legend. Thank you so much for joining us. I just wanted to check if it is John's mic cutting out or it is my connection. It's probably my connection though. But yeah, I might have missed what you just said there, John.
Okay, no problem at all. No problem at all. Yeah, if there is any issues with either person's audio, do let us know in the chat, please, and we'll get it fixed as promptly as possible. John is loud and clear on stream. Good evening, Mr. Robbie G. The dulcet tones of Mr. Double Raven, like a string quartet of racing bliss. You are quite the wordsmith, my friend. Quite the wordsmith, and yeah, quite the all-round good guy as well. PC builder extraordinaire now too, so yeah, welcome in Robbie. Make sure you right click on Robbie's name, give him a follow, and Sean's going to say hello in the chat. Right click and give him a follow as well. We've got him on the race room. We're doing a bit of racing on there. Still doing a bit of racing here. We're only 6 minutes into this one. In fact, Brownings, who's found himself down at the field, making back positions, going past teammate Sullivan in the Aston Martin. They've got Wilson just up the road, in fact. Haugstad, the next driver. Wilson with a good solid start, 7 positions. Callum Scotland though, oh no, talk about precursor, the commentator. Just as I was about to talk about him, 13 positions he's made up. Cannot get a hold of the back of that car at all.
Yeah, he's really struggling in that car, as he mentioned in the first round, having to swap from the Ferrari 296 to the 488, and I think that may...
Sean is having a bit of a nightmare at the moment, so what we'll do is, Sean, if you want to go and quickly give your stuff a restart, because yeah, that is, I'm going to say that is maybe your connection, because you did drop out massively there. So if you want to give everything a quick restart, mate, we've still got 50 minutes of the race left. So yeah, give everything a restart and then jump back in, yeah?
Indeed.
Yeah, perfect. We'll see Sean back in a couple of minutes. Can confirm Floyd get a reset, yep. The Gremlins sneaking in. But yeah, we'll get Sean restarted. We'll get him back in, joining us. Plenty of time left to go. Plenty of laps left to go. Damien Konzig leading the way still in the pros, 1.4 seconds ahead of Hajo Horman. Unsurprisingly, Konzig with the opening fastest lap of the race. De La Zeus in third place, second in the pros, so still in a very good position. Still within 2.5 seconds of the race leader, so won't be too sad at that at the moment. Rainier Athenstad looking to take back some positions if he can. He has got the Lexus of Thierry, who did skip over there, but I'm about to focus on him because we're watching the back of his car. He has been on an absolute tear, 6 places to get himself up to 4th. That is how you start in the wet, and he is holding good pace with the rest of the field. You can see them absolutely equally spread out, equilibriously, some might say.
Hello, yeah. I think I'm back.
Guess who's back? Back again.
Back again.
Here we go, Sean. And it is, yeah, as you were up at the front, the top 5 separated by only a second at a time. Athenstad closing in on Thierry, although Browning's getting involved in a battle, so let's jump on board with that one, where, just as I say that, I can't find him. There he is there. Yeah, so he is catching up to AM leader Haugstad, who right at the death of qualifying got himself into pole position for the AMs, and in the opening couple of laps he's got himself up 6 positions, and in fact make that 7. He's just nailed another overtake. Yeah, Haugstad for promotion. Simrace dude with the follow. Good evening. This would be the wonderful human being with the help of AI that came up with the Double O Raven comedy song. It is an absolute masterpiece. Yeah, it does make me laugh because it's about me, but it is very clever. Oh, Haugstad looking to defend the position if he can. No doing, no. The brakes on Browning's absolutely on point. The silver driver looking to get himself back on the podium, goes past Haugstad. Very nice move indeed, and in fact Borwick looking for an overtake as well. Jakob in the BMW goes round the outside, or sorry, he's defended from Cook, my apologies, he's defended from Cook. It's Wilson ahead. I was looking at the timing, but you can see, look how much spray is coming up as well. Again, I hope that is coming through on the stream. I can confirm it is considerable.
Interestingly as well, John, so it's quite divisive in the
Yep, no, unfortunately, there we go, he's back.
Is it me? Am I still cutting out, am I?
Yeah, you did cut out a bit there, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, we'll just crack on. You'll cut in and out, but with the pearls of your wisdom, we'll I'm sure we'll catch on, and any questions I'll throw them your way. But yeah, can't even remember what you were talking about now, sorry.
Okay, well, John, I was about to say, so the drivers behind the car in close proximity, obviously facing a lot of the water spray. So do you think that the drivers will be changing their camera views to try and help them to try and navigate around the circuit?
Well, it is actually an interesting question, because there is times, as we see De Gore making a bit of a mistake in the Aston Martin, and Brownings is going to say thank you very much. There is always a good way to check, of course, if they've got the window wiper on, chances are they are in the car. You will see some drivers change to that bonnet, but I know a lot of drivers do find, the reflection on the Aston Martin scrapes it right over the curb just as they get to the pit entrance. He's going to be side by side. He is absolutely sending that one. Browning's heavy on the brakes in the Ferrari, and he gets himself ahead of the Aston Martin, who pulls over, definitely to get out with the spray, then pulls back into a straight line. But yeah, potentially we will see some of the drivers, Sean, change that view to get out with the... They've all gone wide. That's not gone well, and he sailed back on through. Sailed being the operative word there, but that is right place at right time. And what a battle this is turning into, Sean, with De Gore with a terrible rear view camera finding himself with the back up ahead of Brownings and Haugstad, but for how much longer?
Yeah, it must be very frustrating for him. He did ever so well to make the pass, and then one little slip up, pardon the pun there, but yeah, he lost control of the car, and unfortunately having to battle back again to try to make an opportunity stick, but it looks like he's up the inside, John.
It does indeed. As he run a bit deep, insta cut back there again. Terrible rear camera, so let's jump on to that one. And he's lost a lot of time there again. And that is now going to be Haugstad is going to find his way through. He has got a better rear camera. They have so much spray, and the rain is getting heavier now for the next 10 minutes. Track temperature is holding at 21 degrees. Heavy on the brakes. Haugstad finding a wiggle, and he's going to find himself. The contact up the inside. The QRT car comes a cropper, bit of contact, takes him up the inside, and there's another yellow flag there. We'll catch this one on the replay. Thank you for the follow, Johnny Rico, as well, by the way. Thank you very much. Welcome in. Yeah, they both have a wiggle on the way in the braking zone. He tries to send it up the inside. And he just takes a front contact. Gets it off the racing line. Callum Scotland makes his way back through. And in fact, where is the Tartan Charity Warrior at the minute? He's in 13th position. So despite that big spin, he's back up 11. So he's on a comeback. Didn't set a quality time. Started from the back. Was up 13, then went back down 8 or 9 positions. He's now back up quite a few positions. So yeah, he is having all the fun in the rain at the minute. This confirmation of another couple of overtakes there. Wilson still with a solid haul as well, 7 positions, and all the drivers behind. Has he missed his brakes, or has it just been a generous... as his teammate has been a bit generous there. Very nicely done. The 2 QRT drivers. Wilson was actually ahead of Sullivan, now that I think about this. There's been so much going on. Car 85 hasn't had any reported off-track incidents. So maybe just losing a bit of pace. And yeah, something else that has just come to my attention as well. Mike van der Hoek in the top 10, setting the fastest lap of the race. He's got silver leader Grejig just ahead of him. Grejig, another driver, good qualifying. He is still running where he started. Only 2 drivers. Oh no, sorry, there's 4 drivers actually in the top 10 have gained. 6 of them still where they started. 15 minutes in. No surprise that Konzig has got that enormous lead up at the front. He really is doing championship things, and it's going to be quite the conditions to write home about if Konzig does become the first driver this season, Sean, to win more than one race in the series.
I may have missed half the question you just asked me there, John.
Just as that, he goes to ask me the question back, and he cuts out.
Yeah. It's just like, yeah, I may have to do a complete reset of the computer just to make sure that we actually
iron out all the bugs.
Yes, iron out all the bugs. So I may do that. But yeah, certainly interesting race. Scotland, so far my driver of the day, up 11 positions from the start of the grid, and from the start of the race as well. So some really good drives out there in what is very, very difficult conditions for the drivers. But yeah, John, I'm going to do a complete reset and then I'll be back hopefully in about 2 minutes, okay?
Excellent.
Right. Cool.
Eagerly anticipate your return, Sean. We will see him back in a moment. The internet very much doing internet things, as the QRT drivers very much do QRT things. In fact, Thierry is in 4th position, looking to take back the spot that he's got. He's still on the podium, and he does have that 10 seconds penalty, so it is a fine juggling act here. He does want, definitely doesn't want to be held up in any way, shape or form, but he's got 2nd place within a second and a half, and 3rd in between him and 2nd. So it's close there, getting a bit of a gap to Athens Stadio, a very good overtake indeed. He finds himself though down 1 position on where he started. The big drop at the start was of course Oliver Zubig. We saw his extremely damaged McLaren. He's come in, taking his mandatory pit stop. He's got the car repaired and back out on track. You'll easily be able to do the requisite time on a set of wet tyres. It is still getting heavier as well, so I don't think there's going to be much chance of the track conditions evolving to anything other than extremely wet. Callum Scotland getting himself another overtake. For a man that was bemoaning the car that he is driving, he is certainly making the most of it. As you can see here, this is both of the arms, in fact, beside him going 3 wide. Perry on the far right there has taken his pit stop as well. Oh, bit of contact on the straights there between the two of them. Callum Scotland on the wet part of the track quite clearly. Oh, Perry just losing the back, and Callum Scotland a whole lot more grip. Look at the absolute getaway of that car. Now he now finds himself ahead in the 488 Evo. My apologies, terrible enunciation. But good battle there, and that is Scotland back up another spot, so that puts him 12 up on where he started. De La Zeus still holding on to 2nd, but it is Damien Konzig in the Audi. Again, a driver that was bemoaning the this car, said he wasn't a big fan of it. I would hate to see him around here in the car that he does like. 4.6 seconds is the gap, so it was 7 tenths ahead of De La Zeus. Sorry, ahead of Horman in qualifying, 8 tenths ahead of De La Zeus, currently lapping half a second a lap quicker. Of course, qualifying was very much in the dry. Fast track for the pros, optimum for the arms in the last half of the silvers. Scotland's already caught up to the Gore. I've gone past him. That's another overtake. Let's see if we can get this one on the replay as well. Oh, and De Gore, he's come from... oh, De Gore just making a bit of a mistake there through sector number 2 and pounced on by Scotland again on the wet part of the track again. Absolutely no fear whatsoever, or just a whole lot of bravery, whichever way you want to look at it. But yeah, Callum Scotland getting himself into the top 10. He has been here already in this race. How will the rest of it go for him? Let's see, Thierry still hunting down Horman, still hunting down De La Zeus, still praying to catch up to Damien Konzig, who's retaken the fastest lap. He has just popped in a 2:14.0. The track temperature has dropped by a degree, and the rain will be stopping in about 30 minutes time. So with 9 minutes to go. Now, how much of a difference is this going to make to the driver's strategies? Remember, mandatory stop for tyres and fuel. The amount of fuel won't make any difference to the actual stop itself. It's really the changing of the tyres that mandates how much time they are stationary for in their pit box. But So it therefore does leave it open. Do the drivers come out with a full tank of fuel, run the whole race, coming on the last lap and put in a litre in bail? Do they come in halfway and take on half a tank of fuel to keep the average weight down? Do they change that? Oh, heading into turn number 1 though, Mike Wilson up the inside of the Aston Martin as he run a bit too deep. The Aston once again holding that inside line very nicely indeed. The McLaren not able to get it done on the brakes, but it's not deterred Wilson from giving it a good old go once again. It says Bullet in front of him, and he's going to need to go like one if he's going to nail this overtake here. My Twitch phone app keeps crashing, no way. Great defensive play, yes, some beautiful driving. Oh, Wilson probing at every opportunity. The Aston Martin though, oh, and he's held on to that well. Mike Wilson, a lot of lateral movement on that whole entire car there, but he's kept it between the Mayo and the Mustard. Over the crest and down the hill to go. Violent interaction with the curb on the left, even in these conditions. On to the longest, straightest, not the straightest part of the track, but the longest part of the track with full acceleration. Top speeds will be achieved. Aston Martin's definitely going to pull away at the start of this one. How is Mike Wilson's and McLaren going to respond? Here we go. Is it going to be close enough? It's not quite, unless he can go full send on the brakes on the wet line. It's a brave one if he does. He's managed. Oh, he's been a very compliant dance partner there with the Aston Martin. Bit of contact on the way out. Absolutely minor as the contacts between the two of them. Wilson looking for the cutback on the Aston Martin. This time he's got the inside apex and he's got the nose in front. Where is... Oh no, he's back ahead again. The Aston Martin squirreling out of that corner there. My terrible camera work, we missed that one, my apologies, but they're still at it as they head into sector 3. It's all Wilson looking to hold that inside line again. Flames flying out the back as he looks to fly up the inside line. Aston Martin's now on the outside. Oh, he's not going to have had as much acceleration on those curves. He's now on the wet line, and Wilson has got his nose in front, and I mean just his nose, as you can see, a very large Aston Martin badge. He's going to have a nosy up the inside. He's on the inside curve. Is he going to get the drag out of the last corner? Has it benefited either driver? Has it benefited De Gore, who is now in what could equate to some slipstream in these extra spray conditions? They're both on the drier part, part of the track. Very subjective in these conditions. Solid line by De Gore again in the Aston Martin. Oh, slightly different there. De Gore putting two wheels on the curb there. Not as brave on the acceleration. Nice hook in the McLaren through there. So much braver on that left-hand curb, but the McLaren does go scooting off that little tenth further ahead. Oh, the McLaren heavy on the brakes, comes round the apex. Aston Martin closing in once again. Athens start closing back in on Thierry, who's starting to lose touch ever so slightly with Horman. We've got Brownings into the pit, so too is Martins. So we'll see where those two come back out. Almost at the halfway mark. I'm wondering how many drivers we will see just go for a splash and dash at the end. De Gore absolutely dashing his way towards that apex. And they've got Cook actually not too far behind as well. Damien Konzig going quicker and quicker. 2 minute 14.027. His fastest lap. The gap now up to 5.7 seconds back to De La Zeus. And then it's Hajo Horman started in second. Now 1 second down on the top two pros with Andre Thierry and Ranier Athenstat. Oh, Grazing from the lead of the Silvers comes into the pits as Athenstat is back ahead of Thierry. Yes, yeah, he's got that position back. That was flown under my radar ever so slightly. My apologies to all concerned. But yeah, Ranier Athenstat getting the move done on Hajo Horman, getting himself back to where he started. Solid grip on third in the pros is what he will now be looking to carry on, especially with Thierry having that 10-second penalty. So it does mean that his nearest competitor is Mike van der Hoek. And now Van der Hoek, one-time holder of the fastest lap, and is definitely one of the quickest drivers in the top 5 overall, running in 6th. So yeah, definitely still in the hunt. Athenstat needs to do everything he can. There is Grejig coming back out of the pits. It's a long way up that hill. Haugstad comes in. Perry has already been into the pits from the arms. There is Zhuwig. Let's get a quick jump on board. Rain is definitely still falling. Can confirm. It does look a lot lighter than it was at the start of the race. Cook has got right up to the Gore. No fear over those curves. Oh, drive through for track limits. Alex Perry, another trip into the pits. That puts Haugstad in a very good position for an AM win out of the two of them. Drive through for Perry. Track limits living up to their reputation here already, just under halfway into the race. Perry's going to be back into the pits. Cook looking to get involved in this Wilson de Gore battle. Has he seen a chink in someone's armour as these two have been dueling out, although Wilson getting a very good breakaway. This of course is for the final podium spot in the silver. It's a good look up the inside, slightly deep there by de Gore, or is that just the line he takes in the Aston Martin right on the inside apex? And yeah, good line he's taken there. No room for Cook to get past, even if he did have more momentum. Just would have made contact with the Aston ahead. Yep, look at that Aston go. And yeah, Wilson ahead. He's certainly not hanging about here. He is stretching that gap out. He's now got 1.8 seconds back to the Gore, so no messing about there. De La Zeus still got Horman 1.1 seconds behind. Horman is a wild card. So all the numbers all the cars numbered from 990 to 999 are wild cards. There is only one this week, 994. And it is Horman. He is very quick, obviously, qualifying in second and running an absolutely solid race in the BMW. He's broken the Ferrari dominance, and he has certainly given the pros something to think about. He's given De La Zeus a welcome buffer, I'm sure, to Athenstad. Who's fought his way back up to third in the pros. Not only that, he's getting himself a good gap back to Thierry. So Thierry's early race pace dropping off ever so slightly. He has still made it up 5. He does have that 10 seconds though to serve in the pit stop. Where is Paul Cook? He is in the pits. Oh, and that is a stop go, 32nd for speeding in the pit lane. And he hasn't fulfilled his mandatory requirements either. Oh, now it does, just having a look at this, it says he was involved in a bit of an accident. Wow. So sometimes drivers go off track. That doesn't record that, but that absolute minorist of contact, and yeah, it's all over it. We've got 2 drivers in the pits. Martins is still in. I think he might have retired. Andre Thierry comes into the pits pretty much bang on the halfway mark of the race. Kibazinski hasn't had much time at all on camera. In fact, none whatsoever, I do believe. But let's rectify that now. Let's get some good shots of the Lambo. Had a solid race so far, has made it up 1 position. A bit of damage on the car, some early unavoidable contacts. But still running very well as we do indeed reach and breach the halfway mark of the race. And I do believe we have a wild, flawed Genius Gaming joining us once again in the commentary box. Good evening once again, Mr. Mann. How are we?
Not too bad, but I do seem to be suffering from some gremlins. I have no idea. I've tested everything, and for some reason, having a few issues on Discord by the looks of it. But thank you for the welcome back, and it seems like I've missed a fair bit of action, John.
understatement of the century, my friend. Yes, indeed. Athenstad, well, Damien Konzig leading the way. No big news there. Delazus holding on to second. Ranier Athenstad got the move done on the Lexus and got a 2.2 second gap to Thierry, who was in third. Thierry's actually come into the pits. Grezig, silver leader, has come into the pits, and there has been, there was an almighty battle between Wilson, De Goer, and another driver in the silvers for that final podium position. That will come to me in a moment. Kibazinski is up a spot. Yeah, it's all been happening right through the field. We've seen Alex Perry get a drive through for track limits, and unfortunately, just before you joined us, Paul Cook in the silvers, one of the drivers involved in the battle as well, came into the pits, didn't fulfill his mandatory requirements, did manage to speed on the way out of the pits and got a stop-go 30-second penalty. So another 2 trips into the pit for Cook, and that is certainly going to relieve the pressure for a couple of the silvers, Sean.
Yes, it's certainly going to turn the race on its head, that is for sure. Actually, John, I'm quite surprised we haven't had more drive-through penalties for track limits. So the driver's doing really well by the looks of it, and keeping it consistent out there. But yeah, certainly it looks like the drivers are having a few heavy moments. As car number 47, Kibazinski, with a bit of a spin on the exit, and he just got a little bit too much rotation through the corner, maybe carrying a little bit too much speed as we look on board with the replay now. But it looks like he's he went a little bit loose on entrance and then got on the curb and lost all kinds of traction, John.
Yeah, absolutely zero traction for the Lambo at that point. Just a passenger was Kibazinski, and it's now the turn of his engineers to get into the races. He comes into the pits. Wilson's come into the pits as well. So too, Hajo Horman has been in and out again. He did fulfil his mandatory requirements. Callum Scotland is into the pits as well. They're all coming in now. 34. They waited on you to get back, Sean. That's what it was, and very kind of them indeed. Damien Konzig, he's not waiting on anyone. 5 seconds is the gap up at the front, and again carving his way through the blue flag traffic. Owen Perry just running himself a bit wide there. And the difference in the track, the curbs of death indeed, Johnny. Absolutely indeed. And the rain is going to reduce. It does say there's going to be no rain in 30 minutes. The race will be finished in 26. So we'll stay wet for the remainder of the race. That's the wing, that's the front wheel, and that is quite the view from the front of the Audi. He's got a nice bit of clear track ahead of him if he can get ahead of this pitted car. Such a tricky pit entrance as well, coming out there on cold, wet tyres. Although you've got them kind of overheated a bit, I suppose, just to try and get as much PSI in them as you can, as early as you can. But no, he has got a car just ahead of him, Thierry as well. That is Grezig that he's just gone past. So Thierry back to his overtaking ways out of the pits. Freshly out of the pits, that's him back up to 10th overall. Still a few cars ahead to pit. I don't think he's going to be encroaching on the race leader, but he'll certainly be looking to try and challenge Athenstad, who is currently in 3rd place in the Ferrari. Paul Cook comes in to serve that penalty. Martins is definitely retired by the look of it. And Flint has come in and back out again. Browning's still to take his pit stop. And that's quite a long one compared to... Oh, well, no, saying that, Bornage, De Goer and Sullivan. Yeah, De Goer was battling for a podium position as well. Browning's looking to get as long a stint as possible. But he's got the race leader coming up behind him though, Sean. You think at this point it might be worth Browning's coming in, biting the bullet. He's had a tough start to the race. Now really needs to focus on what's ahead, and he's got a pitted car ahead and the race leader coming up behind, so it might not be a bad idea for Browning's to come in at this point.
I missed... Callum Scotland.
Wow. So all we heard from you there was I missed how.
Oh dear.
Callum, Scotland. So it was literally like something from the Fast Show. Basically, when you went quiet, I should have went blah, 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 blah. Like that old guy did on, there we go. But yeah, so I think what we got from that though, Callum Scotland with a potential yellow flag, and you would be correct as he pulls into the pits. We will pull him a replay and see exactly what happened to our charity warrior in the 488 Evo. Oh, and I tell you what, that's a lot of care to be taken in these conditions. And that was the beginning of the downfall. A beautiful pirouette. Nice dismount as well. Gets himself off the track very nicely indeed. Bonus points to Callum for that one. Here we go though. Ranier Athenstad, podium protagonist in the race, in the pros. He's in the pit.
Yeah, and this is going to throw up a few different strategies here, John, because we don't know how long it's going to run.
And there is Sean disappeared again. What he was about to say was, we don't know how long it's going to rain. Sorry, Sean, on you go. I was just filling in the blanks as you disappeared temporarily.
It's good that we've got John as the translator here.
Yep.
Yeah, we don't know how it's going to shake up the race because depending on when the rain stops, it could throw a few changes in the race because you know, drivers won't know whether or not to stay on the wet tyres or go for a late pit stop and onto the dry slick tyres. The problem I would say is that when you're in that window where none of the tyres are kind of optimal, really, it's kind of a fight for survival, I think, John.
Yeah, absolutely 100%. And yeah, whether the rain stops or not before the end of the race is going to be a big question mark. Konzig staying out. We're on board with Ben Sullivan. There's so much going on right through the field as cars are coming out of the pit. Sullivan still to take his pit stop, but he has been overtaken by Hajo Horman. So I am looking to see where Thierry's done well considering that 10-second penalty. That's a good comeback, and Athenstad is behind Hajo Horman. So he's still behind Horman. That's still a quick turnaround in the pit stop. So in fact 2 seconds quicker than Horman. I'm surprised he's not ahead. But still aiming for that overall podium. So he is still the lead pro. With Van der Hoek. I did say Van der Hoek, sorry, was going to be the big challenge because of Thierry's penalty. Van der Hoek with an almost identical pit time to Athenstad. Does have Ben Sullivan ahead of him. But he's got 9 seconds to make up, so yeah, great race for Athenstad so far. And yeah, he will get ahead of Bornage and De Goor, no problem when they do come into the pits. Only 21 minutes left to go. We've got Marcus Schoberg all over the back of Borowick, who's still to come in. Spartan the drivers, and again, Sean, we'll wax lyrical every week about the benefits of being here at QRT, and another wide array of pit stops with 20 minutes left to go, 2/3 of the race gone. We've still got over 1/3 of the pit, including the race leaders, the top two, still to come in and take their pit stop. Do we think they're waiting on the rain, or is this a strategy they come up with as soon as they realised it was going to be raining this race, do we think?
I think I got the gist of what you said there, John, but half of it cut out for me. But I'm guessing what you were saying is that the leaders have not stopped for a pit stop, and I think they're keeping their BDI on the weather, and if the track does evolve and get a little bit drier, then rather than make 2 pit stops, they would only have to make the 1 pit stop to go onto the slick tyres perhaps, but it is definitely touch and go in terms of the weather, because for what we know it could be raining for the rest of the race. But it's all in the hands of the weather gods, I'm afraid.
Indeed it is, yeah. Oh, now it says, look, it suddenly said that the rain's going to stop in 10 minutes. So for the last 9 minutes, apparently it's going to stop raining. But we'll see how that one plays out. Mike Wilson does have the race leader just behind him. He has got Brownings just ahead of him. And that is how much pace Konzig has got. Wilson, of course, has taken his pit stop, so he should get back ahead of the race leader. Finds the Audi right up that inside line. The inadvertent cutback from the McLaren, but he'll stay out on the left-hand side. And the Audi will pull away and just sail on past. Hajo Horman right on the back of the Goer. The top three on track still to take their pit stop. That's Callum Scotland in there as well. No mistake in the tartan livery. And that, of course, the Bullock Aston Martin of the Goer finds himself in Horman. Nice move to take the outside line. Is he going to have the momentum here, though? Hold on to that, Aston. Quite right to run his own race. Of course, if I was in that position, I would certainly be letting the cars that have taken their pit stop pop on their way through. But in these conditions, far easier said than done. You have to make sure you're going to keep it on the track yourself, and the Goer doing that very nicely indeed. That is Horman ahead of him now, though, with Athenstad. I think going to get an absolute run on him out of the last corner. Oh no, sorry, Athenstad is behind Callum Scotland at this point. And there we go, nice bit of slipstream. He just sends it up the inside.
Yeah. Sorry, John, this is so difficult, this, because it's like 5 seconds of talking and then there's about a 10 or even 20 second blank where I can't hear anything. So yeah, this is certainly very difficult.
Oh, that is a nightmare for you. That is a nightmare for you. Hopefully the internet gods smile down upon us next week.
Yes, indeed. Oh, as Callum Scotland goes for a spin and tumble there, and yeah, he's really struggling, isn't it, John? After quite a promising start to the race where he made up 12 positions, but he's sinking like a ship.
And that was shit there, by the way, in case anybody wondered. Where Sean was going with that sentence, that cut out a rather perfect opportunity there. Excellent. I'll make a phenomenal soundbite, Sean. Congratulations. Rainier Athenstad, he's got the overtake done. On the back marker, he is now chasing down Horman for overall third place. He does have third in the Prosdale. He's just finding a bit of time on the race leader. There we see Damien Konzig, almost 45 minutes in, 15 to go. Top two haven't taken their pit stop yet, and one of the podium drivers in the silvers still to take his pit stop as well. Tomek Grazig leading the way in the silvers though. 9th place at the moment. He's going to go past those two ahead, so back into the top 7 for the turn 1 driver. Incredible drive there, and Haugstad leading in the arms. Perry serving that drive-through penalty for track limits. Again, I'm as surprised as Sean is that we haven't seen more drive-throughs, but there is still 16 minutes to go, so let's not get too worried about that. Callum Scotland, after that spin, he's just made another overtake to get himself back up to 19th position, but it's certainly been a yo-yo race for the Tartan, the Warrior, this week. Still up 4 places on where he started, but certainly nowhere near where he was earlier on. There is Thierry and Van der Hoek going past the Goer. The Bulla Aston into the pits. We'll see when he comes back out. In comparison to the rest of the silver podium, Ben Sullivan still in 5th position. He's stayed out as well. Borowick, Brownings and Cook. Cook has come in to serve that penalty. This will be his 3rd trip into the pits when he comes in to fulfil his mandatory requirements. Oh, and Bornage, now that is a podium fight. Oh, Bornage, yep, just on the 15-minute mark, Sean. It's it's going to come pouring in just as the rain is starting to stop. We might see a wee deluge of drive-throughs as the drivers maybe getting a bit too comfortable with the conditions.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, very, very difficult for the drivers here because as the track evolves, then that means they'll have to change their driving lines, their braking points as well, and that is definitely no easy feat. And then, of course, for those that haven't already stopped, it's whether they, take the chance of going onto the dry slicks or changing over to another fresh set of wet tyres. So a lot of dilemmas ahead for quite a number of drivers.
Yeah, there is indeed. Oh, and there's, is that Cook? Yeah, Cook's just picked up a drive-through for track limits.
Did you miss half of what I just said?
Oh yeah, we did. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I thought you'd I thought you'd finished your sentence, and I just got over. Yeah, I just spotted the drive-through there. So yeah, I completely missed what you said there, Sean. Please do go again.
I was just saying that there's a few drivers left over that haven't made their pit stops, and it is that dilemma for the drivers where the track evolution is constantly changing and changing their driving lines, their braking points, and of course with the top two drivers not making their pit stops, it's whether or not they change onto a different compound of tyres.
Whether they change on a different compound of tyre and then you cut out. But yeah, different compound of tyre potentially. We will see. The rain is still due to be stopping. It says in 10 minutes, but I said that about 6 minutes ago. So we will see when these two up at the top do come in. Ben Sullivan still to take his pit stop as well. Yeah, no, sorry, Sean, you cut out at someplace around about tyre.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so I just jumped in. And extrapolated where we're going with that. So yeah, fun and games on the audio this week, folks. Apologies, the internet has not been kind to us this week. Absolutely thrown pure Sean under the bus, to say the least. Arnaud De La Zeus, he has come into the pits. I would guesstimate he is going to come back out on a set of wets. 20-degree track temperature with rain still falling. Yeah, he's definitely going to be coming back out, I would say.
I think, John, what I'm better off doing is typing in chat exactly what I was going to commentate on, and you can read it out for everyone.
That would work, yeah, and I'll type out my questions to you as well. Just to give you half a chance of hearing more than half of it.
Yes.
Yeah. The internet is a wonderful thing when it works. It's definitely one for Konzig though. We've still got Sullivan, the on-track leader in the Silvers Greyzig, leading the way though. After a solid race, back up to 8th place overall. Martin's retiring to the pits. Perry bringing up the rear of the field just behind Flint. Then of course Scotland with Cook got another trip into the pits. Haugstad still leading the way in the AMS after a solid qualifying as well. Oliver Zubig on a comeback drive after a difficult lap number 1. A lot of damage in an early pit stop. But still running, and is going to get top 10 points in the pros, not too shabby. Bornage and De Goor now separated a bit. 1.3 with Kibazinski outside the top 10 once again, but has had a couple of spins and a couple of pit stops still to come ahead. So I think a couple of positions still on the horizon. It's then Wilson and teammate Brownings, 12th and 11th. Brownings and Borwick's of course still got their pits to take. Schulberg and Greyzig, bit of a gap between them. We'll see if anyone comes out of the pits between them. But Athenstad, oh wow, what's going on here, Sean? De La Zeus is behind Horman and Athenstad is all over the back of him.
Oh, and a little bit deep there as well from Athenstad as well.
Yeah, jump on a replay here and we'll have a look and see. It must be quite the spin because he... Oh, wow. Yep, that is quite the spin, and that is a lot of time lost. And, oh, it's going to be a position loss. There is it. Konzig comes into the pits as the final podium position. Is being absolutely battled over. Athenstad looking for that pro podium position. And it could be a second place after a big lock-up by De La Zeus halfway through the course. and that's put Horman into overall second position. Konzig, the race leader in the pit. He is going to come back out comfortably ahead of the rest of the field, especially with what's just going on there. Oh, that is incredible. Can De La Zeus now hang on to second place? It says the rain has stopped. Let's jump onto on board. Yeah, so that is just spray that's coming up. And the track temperature has gone back up a degree. Let's see. In fact, they say he's going to come back out miles ahead. Yeah, he's up the hill. As there is the chasing pack. I see he was 8 seconds ahead. Let's see, Horman, that is going to close. He's now, what, 3 seconds behind? Right, okay, so I've completely misread that situation. Konzig is now only 3 seconds ahead of Hajo Horman. Oh, and he's made a mistake! He's made a mistake! Damien Konzig has made a mistake with 8 minutes left to go. Oh no, and that's him coming out the pits. I hate this replay function on here sometimes. My apologies, we'll get back to that in a second. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Damien Konzig making a mistake out of the pits. He's lost the overall lead of the race. Is Rani Raffenstad on for a race win here? We'll find out when we get back out on track. Please let me see what's going on.
Did Konzig come out on wet tyres, John?
Yes, he did.
He did. Alright, okay. So perhaps just a little bit cold coming out the pit lane then. But yeah, definitely a rarity from Konzig, who has put himself under a... well, sorry, actually, he's down into second, John.
Yes, he is indeed. We're going to see what happened here. He's right out onto the wet line. And yeah, similar to... oh yeah, it just ends up all kinds of off the curb there. Cars slide in. Oh, and then kicks back the other way, and there goes Horman through. So he was 9 seconds ahead, 8 seconds ahead going into the pit. He now finds himself at a second down on the overall race lead with De La Zeus. Now he's got a bit of breathing space back to Athenstad. Athenstad still in third then in the pros. Horman leading the way overall. He's got, as I say, 6 and 8 tenths of a second up to the... or back to, look how close that is now. Athenstad right in the hunt for a race win here. Sullivan, Borwick and Browning still got to take their pit stop. Borage and De Goer still battling away in the silvers. Bornage on a good comeback drive in the Porsche. Oh, and he's gone up the inside. Oh, and that is, yeah, perfect pirouette of destruction there. Both of their lines gone, and De Goer gone into the distance, Sean. The wet throwing up problems for the drivers, and now there's no rainfall on the standard drive. Look, they're actually driving into the wet part of the track to cool the tyres a bit now. So as you were saying, it completely changes things up as it's done up at the front.
Yes, indeed. So sorry, no, that's Horman in front, isn't it? So Horman just in front of Konzig then, battling for, well, I mean, to be honest, Konzig is still in the race lead for the pros, but certainly in terms of bragging rights, is a second overall behind the wild card of Horman. Yeah, De La Zeus perhaps cursing his luck really in season 5. Normally we see him also dominant, trying to grabbing many victories in a row, but only the one race win so far this season, and he has got De La Zeus just behind as well, 2 seconds behind. As it looks like Horman goes wide. Horman wide, and Konzig takes full advantage to take overall P1 Horman, which will definitely shake things up in the final 5 minutes of this race, because we have got, of course, De La Zeus 2 seconds behind Konzig, but if Horman had have held up Konzig, then De La Zeus came into play, but it does look like now Konzig can fly away and try to cement that victory at John.
on the Goer. Yeah, Sean went slightly robotic there, but at least we can still hear him. So yeah, the things are slightly improving. But the Goer, no improvement there for him. He's found himself off the track in a big way, and that's a couple of positions that he is going to drop. The difference is incredible between the track all of a sudden and through the same section. Yeah, just too much oomph, and a bit of a contact with the barrier there, and that is a fairly solid construction as well. The track definitely evolving, and again there you can see the drivers on the wet tyres going to the wet part of the track, deliberately doing so to try and cool them down a bit. Is Ben Sullivan about to pull an absolute worldie, come out here on dry tyres and nail the fastest lap of the race? That would be incredible. We've got Damien Konzig, who is once again leading the way from Hajo Horman. Yeah, Sean, it's not playing nice with you at all this evening. Listen, in fact, to tell you what, mate, it's something such a nightmare. Do you want to just sit down and enjoy the rest of the race rather than pulling your hair out?
I guess so, mate. I mean, there's only 3 minutes left, so...
Actually, yeah, you know what, you're right. There is only 3 minutes left. There is only 3 minutes left. Not many laps to go around this track. Although it is QRT, so there's still plenty of overtakes on the go as Bornage and Wilson getting into it as they finish lap number 24. Wilson getting himself ahead. That's Bornage. That is Wilson. I'm going to say getting himself ahead. That is just... Although he's kept the Porsche out on the dry line, is he going to manage to get the grip as the Porsche comes right back at him down the corner, and they both move over on the wet line of the track, and the dry line really is getting dry pretty quickly. And Sean, yeah, Discord might be not be on point this evening, but you certainly have been. This evolving the evolving line right at the very end of the race, it's really making it a bit of fun for the drivers. Yeah, no, Sean unfortunately still can't hear us because of internet issues, but we'll crack on as Bornage and Wilson still cracking on. This is the final 2 podium positions in the silvers. They've got 2 minutes left to go, second and third. Oh, the Porsche looking for the line up the inside, and look how quickly this track is dried out. That is incredible to me. Oh yeah, so it's not as dry as it looked yet, but he's still over on the wet line, but that dry line is widening up and it's definitely dried a bit. And the Porsche is looking good ahead of Wilson at the moment. Bornage back up into second. What a drive it's been for him. Wilson in third place. Konzig still got, are getting again a more comfortable lead. 2 seconds. De La Zeus still got 1.2 back to Athenstad, so he really can't afford to put a foot wrong. But Athenstad, I'm absolutely sure will be happy with a pro podium, the top 4 finishing, or at the moment certainly running where they started, much to like Marcus Schoberg. Thomas Grayzig losing a position overall from the start, but he is still the silver leader by a comfortable margin going into the final minute. Is the track going to get to damp by the time we get to the finish? Yep, exactly, Sean. Who is going to hold their nerve? Who is going to be able to hold their brakes and their accelerator? Avoiding the curves there for Konzig. It does say the track is still wet, but you have to say that is a fairly convincing dry line that they're able to drive on there. There's definitely still puddles at the side, so you've got to wonder if that wet designation is a bit of an aggregate of the track condition. Although, yep, runs right into the puddles out of the last corner. This is going to be the start of the last lap. It's going to be lap number 27. What a drive it's been for Konzig. Had a bit of a moment in the last few laps, but he's managed to gather that up magnificently, much like De La Jesus actually, finding some good pace at the start of the last lap. He's going to put Horman under pressure for overall second. It looks like Oliver Zhuweg looking to make his way back through the field. He'll still be down 5 overall, but still inside the top 10 for the pros. He's got De Gore ahead of him. The Aston Martin we saw have a bit of an issue. Callum Scotland making up 5. We've still got Perry, Cook and Flint down at the back of the field. Cook, I'm assuming it's going to be popping video evidence in. There must have been some kind of glitch in the pits. Unless he's planning on coming in for a final lap dash. Wilson still behind Bornage, who's had a phenomenal drive through those conditions to get the Porsche up into second in the silvers. But it is Damien Konzig on to the fastest part of the track for the final time of Askin. It has been an absolute barnstormer once again. Round number 5 season 5 of the GT3 Championships here at QRT. And Damien Konzig is going to be the first driver to win more than one race, which is not something we've seen so far. Or over Damien's past few seasons, he's really having to work for this one. And he is bringing home the bacon, coming into sector number 3. Got a couple of cars just ahead of him. And yeah, that line really has evolved right at the end. Yeah, but it's still saying it's damp, so we'll go with that. Horman still holding on to second. Let's make sure we catch Konzig. He's coming round the last corner. That is going to be a good points haul to take into the Red Bull Ring. All 3 championships are going to go down to the wire, but Damien Konzig will be an extremely confident driver going into the last week after that performance in some tricky conditions. Hajo Horman with the overall second. Arnaud De La Jesus, championship protagonist, crosses the line to take second, and it is Ranier Athenstad for Big Brain Racing on the podium. It started in 4th, finished in 4th overall, but all importantly on the podium with Thomas Grazik for the silvers. An impressive qualifying found him in 7th, and he's going to finish in 7th. The McLaren driver bringing home the top spot, and I think a fair shout for fastest lap as well. Oscar Bornage, oh, and we're going to see an overtake right to death. Callum Scotland with a drive-through as Bornage and Wilson battling over the final podium positions in the silvers. Houseguard is going to win in the arms, but who is going to finish ahead out of Wilson and Bornage? It's 2nd and 3rd in the silvers. It is the final lap. Oh, and the McLaren's gone full sideways. How has he managed to save that? Oh, he's not quite. He absolutely went for that there. Couldn't quite hold on to it. Do or die into sector 3. And Mike Wilson not quite able to hang on to that, so it will be Oscar Bornage. Oh, well, I say that. He's still got 4 corners to go. Let's not count his chickens before he's hatched them, just in case. Right over the track. 2 corners to go for Bornage. Wilson clearly giving it absolutely everything there, and just a little bit too much in the pursuit of 2nd place. But it is still a solid podium drive. Bornage in 2nd and Wilson in 3rd place. Oliver Zhuwig up to 13th and hunting down overall 12th, sorry. In fact, I think he finished a bit down on that. But is he going to make a position right at the end? Ben Sullivan with a good race to finish in the top 15. A couple of drivers have left. But yeah, Zhuwig crossing the line in 12th position. Let's jump on to race winner. And there we go. We will grab the highlights. There is the conditions when the race started. Absolutely incredible. And there is the overall race results.
But oh no, you gone. Right, okay.
Yep, jumped out with skin there. That was very good. That was very good. Welcome back, Sean. You've been gone for quite a while, but it's been a phenomenal race. And yeah, thank you for all the info anyway. But yeah, quite the finish there. Damien Konzig bringing home what can only be described as another very, very, very impressive win. And we've lost him again.
Yeah, he's cutting in and out, but I'm sort of trying to use the stream, and then no, I've cut it. Have I cut it again? Yeah. Hold on. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hello, hello.
Yeah. So I have got the race results. If you didn't have them already. So the pros, Konzik with the race win, Delazus in P2, Athens Steed with P3, Silvers, the podiums was Griezik, Bjornhag and Wilson. And then we only had 2 finishers in the amateurs in Hallstad and Perry. And Horman, of course, Graham P2 overall, but was the only wild card.
Indeed, yeah, so there we go. Despite the issues, Sean's still on the ball. Well, hopefully the internet will put an extra 50 pence in all the meters for next week. Mrs. Emily, more than welcome. We're going to leave you with all of the highlights, and we're going to go and kick Sean's router up and down the street. Thank you for all of the follows this evening as well. We've had quite a few jumping in. Thanks to everyone in the chat. Unfortunately, it doesn't highlight. Simray's dude with the follow, John Enrico with a follow as well. So thank you to everyone. Thanks to everyone that took part, and of course, thank you to the organisers. We've got the Red Bull Ring next week, and a thank you and a good night from Sean as well.
Good night, everyone. If you can hear me.
Keep it short and sweet. Keep them more and more. Absolutely the way to do it. But that is, we'll leave you with the highlights. Do enjoy. We'll see you for the finale next week when all 3 championships will be decided by the checkered flag. Imola this weekend as well. Get yourself involved. Until then, stay safe, take it easy, and have a great rest of your night. Good night.